Hello there. This is my second attempt trying to make this video. I had made it once before, but I wasn't happy with the results, so I'm trying to make it a second time. You may have seen a lot of videos about Chalk. Chalk doing ASMR, I meant. And that could be people scratching on chalk, tapping on chalk, crumbling chalk, playing with chalk dust, using tools on chalk to make some nice sounds. And then there are some videos that will eat chalk like a mukbang. This video is not a mukbang, but it will be about the people who try to eat chalk for the first time. Of course, there are lots of videos, this one, for example, that does do ASMR in the tactile sense. I will not be talking about this kind of ASMR or chalk ASMR in this video. I will only be talking about people reacting to edible chalk and what their initial instinct is. The people that do eat a lot of chalk and that do a lot of ASMR with chalk, I'm not going to be reviewing those because all it is, it's them doing ASMR with the chalk, and I would not feel comfortable just putting a whole bunch of ASMR videos together into one ASMR video that I make. That's basically just a compilation of other people's ASMR videos. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to apply some legitimate commentary on videos about chalk. These videos are not necessarily ASMR videos. Some of them are, I will admit that, but I am giving commentary on their reactions, not on their ASMR. And a quick preface before I get into it. Going back to the tactile chalk, most of them use a chalk that comes in like a very big brick. It's very crumbly. It makes a very fine powder very easily, I might add. This is gym chalk, and it is very different from the chalk that people eat on videos to make a nice crunch. Gym chalk is made out of magnesium carbonate, which is technically edible in small amounts, but I'm not going to be talking about gym chalk or magnesium carbonate in this video. So, without any further ado, let's see some videos. So now the first thing that people like to do when trying chalk for the first time is they write with the chalk to prove that what they're about to eat is in fact chalk. Here are some examples.
I set off to test how well it works as normal chalk, and it seemed to be exactly like any other piece of chalk.
Very interesting, and I wanted to make sure if it actually worked like chalk, and it did. It smelled.
Let's see if I can draw with it.
This is 100% undeniable proof that this is chalk.
I knew you were gonna write that.
And then, once they have proven that the chalk is in fact chalk, then they eat it.
He's man.
You know, this could very easily have been one of your burns.
I guess the crunch in and of itself is somewhat ASMR. Funny how that works out. Now, some of the reactions that people have are very realistic. Chalk is a very weird kind of thing. It doesn't taste like food. So, a lot of people don't actually like it, and that's justifiable.
What the f? Ugh.
Ow. This would be a really good punishment.
And then there are some people who are making comedy videos trying chalk. They like to play up their reactions for comedy.
Edible chalk from Amazon. Can't wait. Okay, well, first off, it might be edible, but is it really? Okay. Okay, no, I don't think I like it.
Taste test.
I tried to wash it down with some edible chalk, but it didn't work. What the f? There's nothing edible about this! Oh my god, it tastes like chalk. It tastes like chalk. No, I don't want to swallow.
Yeah, that last reaction was one of my favorites. What I really wanted to do with this video is go over what people say in their videos, and we can start with this one and this statement.
The store I purchased it from said it's all natural and safe to eat and really high in calcium.
This is all true. It is all natural. In fact, it is harvested from the mountainsides because calcium carbonate is, in a geological definition, calcium carbonate is a rock. It is safe to eat. Calcium carbonate actually is one of the main ways that we get calcium in our food. And calcium carbonate is non-toxic. In fact, it is less toxic than salt, if you consider the LD50s. And of course, you do need to take that with a grain of chalk. Funny. Because the LD50s were calculated in rats, not humans, although most of the time it is very similar. The LD50 of calcium carbonate is around 600 milligrams per kilogram, and the LD50 of salt is around 3,000 milligrams per kilogram. But again, be careful with this information. And the third thing, really high in calcium. Yeah, no kidding. It's literally calcium carbonate. Rhett and Link had a lot of things to say about chalk, and they have their own video. You can watch the whole thing. But let's take a look at what they had to say about eating the chalk.
I baked it at 350 degrees for 30 minutes after hammering it into smaller pieces.
All right, so we didn't hammer ours first, but we did bake it. Here, let's take some smaller pieces. It's a little crunchier.
It tastes worse.
It tastes totally different.
It tastes twice as bad as it did.
So why would baking the chalk make it taste worse? Well, fun fact, that actually changes the chemical composition of the chalk when it's heated.
The heat is causing the calcium carbonate to decompose, and it's producing calcium oxide. This used to be known as lime.
So yeah, Rhett and Link were eating chalk, and they were also eating lime. Who'd have thought?
So I don't see what it's made of exactly, but it does say it's an organic product.
Yes, this is technically an organic product. Upon being harvested from the mountains, they do not use hormones or pesticides. I guess that's just, I know that's not technically what organic means in this context, but organic is just a buzzword anyway.
I didn't even know this was a thing, and apparently it's actually good for you to eat.
Yes, but with a caveat. It is healthy, and it's healthier than salt, technically. It is good for your bones. This is the primary source of calcium for us, like I said. If it is eaten in large amounts over a long period, it does inhibit your iron intake and therefore also your hemoglobin production. Ask me how I know that. And in very rare occasions, it can turn your blood into milk. Look it up for yourself. I'm not going to explain it. It's called milk alkali syndrome? Milk alkali something. But yeah, don't do it.
Not my favorite. It has a bit of an odd taste. I still prefer Crayola.
So yeah, Crayola chalk is non-toxic. But because it's not marketed as edible, it doesn't have to go through the safety checks that things that are marketed as edible have to go through. And I guess this is just speculation, but if you are going to eat any kind of chalk, maybe you should stick to chalk that does say it's edible as opposed to Crayola chalk. Just because I imagine any kind of contamination they don't really care about. All they really have to do is prove that it's non-toxic as opposed to safe to eat or for eating.
I love the taste, but then 5 to 6 hours later, the chalk's laxative properties kick in.
What?
So this is actually false. Calcium carbonate is not a laxative. In fact, it's the opposite of a laxative. It makes you have to not go. Magnesium carbonate, on the other hand, that is a laxative, and it's used in the medical field as a laxative. But yeah, calcium carbonate, not a laxative. But with all these people eating chalk, you might be wondering, what does it taste like? Well, that depends on who you ask. Some people say it tastes like nothing at all.
It doesn't really have a flavor. It's just plain.
Not that it tastes bad, it just doesn't really have any taste at all.
Some people do compare it to other things, none of which being actual food.
Describe it because you guys probably never had chalk before, but it tastes like crayon. It tastes like dirt. That's what it tastes like.
This tastes like dish soap.
It tastes like car air vent.
Schmeckt nach Erde. Einfach nach Erde.
And a few people note that the chalk that they're eating tastes exactly what you'd expect chalk to taste like, and I'm not even surprised.
This stuff did not taste good, and it felt exactly how you would expect eating literal chalk to feel.
I think that's pretty much how real chalk would taste. Just very, very chalky and powdery.
Kind of what you would imagine some chalk to taste like, right?
And even though a lot of people say that they don't like it, there are some people that do in fact like it. On top of all the videos on the internet of people just eating chalk, like the entire video. Even the reviewers, they did like it.
Takes a little getting used to, but it's actually really smooth and not grainy like I thought it'd be.
Kind of growing on me, not gonna lie. So satisfying.
This is delicious. It tastes like granite. Really ain't that bad.
Okay, wait, that last one? Yeah, that last one was from Spice King. That one doesn't count. Because this reaction is exactly the reaction that I would expect from a high testosterone Sigma male who intentionally burns his taste buds off with capsaicin. The video I just showed you, he was mixing chalk with a bunch of spicy stuff, hot sauce, some powder. Yeah, his reaction saying it's not that bad, I'm going to disqualify it because he doesn't know what things taste like anymore. On to the next point. Some of the reviewers didn't even think that the chalk was edible because it tasted really weird, and because it wasn't technically food, they were worried about it being inedible.
This is a prank, right? This doesn't taste edible.
I can't do it.
I don't think it's edible.
And in fact, one guy did try to eat chalk that wasn't marketed as edible chalk. He called it non-edible chalk, and he didn't notice a difference.
I also bought non-edible chalk just to see what the difference in taste is. It looks just... Which one is it? They taste exactly the same.
The reason why I didn't notice a difference is the difference between edible chalk and regular chalk, say Crayola or the sidewalk chalk that you get, is nothing. They're the same. Both regular chalk and edible chalk are calcium carbonate. The only difference is the marketing.
Edible chalk and real chalk are not the same thing.
Oh, hello again, Spice King. Fancy seeing you a second time. Like I just said, yes, they are the same thing. They are both calcium carbonate. So, I wish you good luck on all your spice videos. Have fun abusing your tongue. I could never do what you do. So, why would people eat chalk or calcium carbonate? Well, believe it or not, it is actually the main ingredient in Tums. Tums is just calcium carbonate and sugar, and it is used as a natural antacid, which means that likely you've eaten chalk without even knowing it. Another reason is because it sounds nice for ASMR, obviously. And some people, they exist. Some people just eat it because they like it. In fact, I like it. And to prove it, here's a piece of chalk right here. It's not that big. If I had to guess, I'd say this is about 3 grams. And yeah, here's what it sounds like. Even though I just told you all the health risks and health benefits of calcium carbonate, because I just put some in my mouth, I do have to say that you probably shouldn't do this at home. All the other videos of people eating chalk, it says in the description that they're not actually swallowing it, they're spitting it off camera. And for all you know, that's exactly what I did. Anyway, this was a very different video. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed that little mukbang at the end. That's going to be rare. I don't know when the next time I'm going to be doing one of those. But I suppose that is going to be it from me, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.